Hi everyone, it's Sam, NFTstatistics, and this is your Proof Daily NFT Countdown. Today's one of those days where we have a bunch of smaller stories with projects, with sales that happen. Not too many big stories, but we're going to focus on what we got and dive right in. Let's start with a quick market overview. Volume's kind of in that range we've been in, up a little bit from yesterday, but nothing to get too excited about. Volumes again in Blur's camp, about 73% market share for Blur, 23.5% for OpenSea. Large cap index was down a fair bit, down about 2%. Had a little bit of strength in Milady, which I recently added to this index because Milady, is just kind of always up there when it comes to projects where a lot's going on. So I added Milady in. Clone X was down 9%. Gonna talk a little bit about what's going on with Clone X in a second. Mid cap index was also down about 2 or 3%. Had weakness in the CDB project. Valhalla also down about 9%. Let's look at CDB. This is looking at season 4, and it's a bit of a hard chart to read, but this is basically where all the sales happen on that project. And you can see that CDB4 actually went up a small bit. It went from about 0.04 to about 0.08. Why was that? Well, they took the art and they added these black and white dots, which I think took kind of something that was kind of ugly and made it, I hate to say it, even a little bit uglier. But I tweeted about it, want to figure out why is this something people are excited about? Nice response here from Dith saying unknown is always better than the known. Maybe they have something up their sleeve, who knows? And then Jingling pointed out that the spots are spreading as well. So it looks like there could be a second image below the original, and that's coming through. Who knows what's going on? But anyways, days like day, I'll tell you about it. Or days like today, I will tell you about that. Clone X, I said, was weak. You can really see it in this log chart. Log charts do a much better job of bringing out the movements for a project that's been down a fair bit. You can see that Clone X has really had a very weak week this week. And I think when I was looking at how many NFTs have been sold into bids, dumped into bids that had not been sold for more than a month. So NFTs that where the seller sold a bunch into Blur bids and had been holding them for more than a month, you can see that just a couple days ago, we had the biggest day ever for that. So someone came in and dumped over 200 into bids. I've talked about this before. One of the issues with a few of these projects is they have these farmers who we know, because of the way they've traded past projects, don't want to stay in these projects. Their ultimate target is to be at 0 NFTs held. They kind of try to play a little pump and dump game. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. And there was someone in Clone X who bought more than 400 and really had a hard time offloading them. What this chart on the left looks at is this person's overall position. You can see it got above 400, and this is one of the biggest farmers in the game who really kind of took a bet on Clone X. It didn't go very well, and he's still, even with all the selling that's happened, he's still at about 250. He was not the seller of this most recent dump. So this is a different farmer who still owns about 250. You can see he's already lost about 250 ETH on this. So just a project that I feel like people have gotten a little bit stuck in, which is too bad. It's just too bad for the holders because it just kind of creates this overhang, and hopefully it'll go away before too long. Here is a chart from Renga, another project I wanted to talk about. Renga's another one, which really, really got hot kind of in the fall of last year, about 9 months ago, and kind of held up for a little while. But as so many NFTs have seen happen over the past 6 months, has really kind of gone into a little bit of a down-only mode. And what they ended up doing was replacing their CEO with Dirty Robot. Dirty Robot is the face of this project. I'd say he is the artist behind it all, and he decided that he was going to also become CEO. Really kind of interesting quote here that I got from Lucky Trader, where he said, "I can't live another day with my destiny in someone else's control. The time has come for me to lead the vision and core values of Renga, keeping it pure and true to what I believe in as an artist." So strong quote from from Dirty Robot. Very curious to see how that plays out. Another fun little story. And again, I got this one from Lucky Trader. So thank you to Tyler and the team over at Lucky Trader. Aspiring alpaca V-Friend holders are going to get these Reebok shoes. That's pretty cool. I actually kind of like these shoes. Here's the tweet from V-Friends. "Dreamers, let's do this. We're proud to introduce the V-Friends and Reebok Aspiring Alpaca Classic Nylon. The shoe will take you wherever you aspire to go." And you can see that instead of Reebok, it actually says V-Friends. They're giving away a free pair to the aspiring alpaca holders. Again, kind of with V-Friends, there are a bunch of different animals with adjectives within the collection. I think there are 40 or 50 aspiring alpacas, so they get the shoes. Everyone else, I think, gets first dibs at buying a limited edition pair of shoes. I actually couldn't find the price on the website for everyone else, so if you know that, feel free to throw that in the comments. In terms of our projects, we had 3 that did 10 ETH of volume or more. Let's look at some of the big sales. This was a Chromie Squiggle, sold for 15 ETH. So that's wow. The floor right now is below 15. The bids are at 10. So this was a punchy sale for where gazers are lined up right now. Love to see that. A slinky chromey squiggle just with really nice shape here. Sold for 14.85 ETH. We had a Meridian for 6.7 ETH. And then this is if you want to start a war. And since it's Grail season, I wanted to throw this in here. This is a piece that Tim Ferriss made for one of the earlier, I believe season 1 for Grails. But Tim Ferriss was one of the artists. And he had a piece called If You Want to Start a War, whereas one of the piece, and in that piece is a ton of the writing that he has done. I believe it's fiction writing. But that one sold for 1.5 ETH. Love to see that. I'm going to jump right into the notable sales, kind of at a bigger picture, and skip over big stories. I just couldn't find any big stories that really jumped out at me and thought I would share with you today. So let's talk about the notable sales. 2 3D glasses CryptoPunk sold for one sold for 235 ETH, one sold for 92 ETH. 3D glasses aren't that rare of a trade, just like hoodies. Both of them, I believe, have over 200. They're really not that rare, but they've always had that culture. They've always had that Grail aspect to them. So nice to see these, coming. Obviously, the hoodie, that's a huge sale, but also just a double Grail. And then this pipe one, also kind of a double Grail. The pipe's a nice trade, but coming at about 2.5 times the floor. Here's the buyer of the hoodie who said, today has been a good day. After staring at 3D hoodies for a long, long time, happy to finally bring one home. Maybe this will age well, maybe this won't, but I'm comfy either way. Love to see that. Another punk I wanted to talk about, this one on the left, is kind of a Beeple Jr. CryptoPunk. It's an identical punk to the one that Beeple bought, just without the clown nose. Now, I think those 4 pixels that make up that clown nose are kind of pretty keynote to Beeple's punk, but still someone kind of saying, I want the next closest thing I can get, and bought this for 74.78 ETH, which before Beeple sale would have been a punchy price for this one, but hey, love to see that. And again, I kind of put the one that Beeple bought there on the right. We talked about 4 trait Bored Apes. That had been selling another 4 trait. Pretty clean one. People don't love the green background, so maybe it's a little bit of a weakness here, but 45 ETH for this, higher than where the 3D glasses 4 trait sold earlier this week. One of the big things that happened in this market was a sweep of where my Vans go. I think we've had Drifter Shoots on the podcast before. Just one of the more interesting, incredible artists in the space. He had 5 of his pieces swept by one buyer. You can see here, these prices kind of range from 14.7 all the way up to about 19 ETH. So love to see that. Congrats to Drift on that, as well as the buyer. There was one other person who actually bought a Drifter Shoots piece yesterday, or Where My Vans Go. So there were 6 that were sold yesterday. Now, interesting tweet here from Dr. Jones, basically saying that the buyer of these 5 has also been on a buying spree of other grails. Bought 2 ringers, 2 fidenzas, 1 autoglyphs from the Sotheby's sale, had bought 2 pieces from Beeple. Now these 5. Here are some of the other ones that are in the buyer's wallet. So love to see that. Love to see a new whale coming in and making some big purchases, or maybe an old whale coming in and making some big purchases with a new wallet. Who knows? A couple one-on-one sales I want to talk about, and there's nothing above 2.2 ETH on Super Rare, and I kind of like when that happens because I get to talk about some new artists. Here's a piece called It's Mine, 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 All Mine by Rebecca Rose. Really cool visual. This sold for 2.2 ETH, and you kind of have to, again, another one with the animation where she kind of walks you through, it's a collage that kind of walks you through this building with all these diamonds and robbers taking things, and it's definitely worth checking out. Here was her explanation. She said, "Is mine, 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 all mine," is a comment on how it's right now the perfect climate to steal grails. We've seen famous works enter new hands for those bold enough to grab them, with everyone watching the action as it happens. And this is a reminder, if you see something you want, you better get it while you can. So someone who is bullish on NFTs, bullish on one-of-one art, saying now is the time, these are some cheap prices. And I kind of like that. Ironically, I think this was the highest price she had for a sale. So she's hitting all-time highs. Maybe not, but I'll show you some of the top sales that she's had in the past. Just a little bit more about the artist, an award-winning collage expert artist who explores various different types of collages, sculptural, digital, immersive, holographs, clearly, NFT collages. Her work is in several private collections. She's been awarded great fellowships, and she's also a recipient of many grants and awards, and she works right now in a studio in Florida. So congrats to her on that sale. Here are a few of her other top sales. All very fun pieces to explore, kind of in that 1.4 to 2 ETH range. And then lastly, here's a photograph. The News on Pointe by Omar Robles sold for 2 ETH, but by Raj71. Really kind of cool piece. If you look at more of Omar's work, you can see really kind of takes these ballerina figures and puts them against the New York City cityscape and buildings and everything. And it really creates a very cool contrast. So really enjoyed exploring Omar's work. Just a little bit about him. He's New York City based. He's from Puerto Rico. And then, he says he likes to juxtapose the clean lines of dancers against the rugged cityscapes. Prior to this, he used to shoot celebrities, athletes, artists, politicians. His images are an army of miniature stories told by the gentle flow of the dancers' bodies. And he has over 300,000 followers on Instagram. And through that has started to represent a lot of different brands like Leica, Jaguar, Gap, and more. So clearly doing good stuff with his work. That is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, give us a like below. Tell us what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Join our Telegram group. There's a link down below. And we'll be back tomorrow and just about every weekday with another show. Have a great day.